If anybody has any prayer requests, put it in the comment section and I'll pray over it. Last week I did a message on about trying the spirits, see if it be of God. And I was mainly referring to a movie that was put out here recently about Mary, the mother of Jesus, which was not accurate. And this is a follow-up message to that. It's on Herod. Next week I do one on Gabriel, which was also distorted in the movie. But this one's on Herod the Great, who, not to be confused with Herod Archelaus, Herod Philip, Herod Antipas, Herod Agrippa, or Herod Agrippa II. He reigned king of Israel from 36 BC to 1 AD. Herod was born around 72 BC in Idumea, south of Judea. Herod was a descendant of Esau, but was raised Jewish. Herod was appointed king by the Roman Senate. Herod was called Herod the Great because he was one of the greatest builders of that day. It was Herod who rebuilt the temple and put an eagle in the temple, which was offensive to the Jews because they seen it as an idol. It was Herod who appointed the high priest at that time, which put the high priest in an awkward position, because while he had to serve the Jewish people as high priest, he still had to remain loyal to Rome. Does that sound familiar? We've got this in churches today, where while the pastors are not appointed by the government seems to be telling them what they can and can't preach. For example, in foreign countries, they'll outright appoint them. But even here in America, they still have this Johnson Amendment, for one, which is taxing them for speaking the truth when it steps on the government's toes. And then in some states they also have hate crime laws to where, like if you speak against abortion, you could be charged with a hate crime in some states. And many have watered down the truth because of fear that the government would come after them for telling the truth. But this is the same situation the high priest was in at that time. Herod provided for the people when the famine hit in 25 BC. Herod was also known to waste money and tax the people heavily. For this reason, there were many who didn't like him. Herod would often send spies to find out who didn't like him, so he could have them put to death. Herod was very paranoid, putting anyone to death that he thought was a threat, which included his wife and 3 of his sons. Herod most likely never met Mary, the mother of Jesus, and certainly did not have a vision that Jesus was crucified as portrayed in the movie. Herod did not find out about the birth of Christ until Jesus was around 2 years old, when the wise men asked where was he that was born King of the Jews. Herod was threatened by this, and asked them to search for the child and report to him once they had found him, so that he may go and worship him. This he did with intention of killing him. All this is Matthew 2 that I'm reading now, confirming with the wise men and everything. The rest of it was written in history. God warned the wise men about this plot, so they didn't go back to Herod. When Herod found out the wise men had tricked him, he killed all male children in and around Bethlehem 2 years old and under. I'm going to read that, by the way. That is Matthew 2. I'm going to start at 13. And when they were departed, behold, this is right after the wise men left. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, and it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Again, Jesus was in Egypt at that time, so he wasn't killed then. Herod died a death similar to the way Herod Agrippa I died in Acts chapter 12. His kingdom was divided between his sons. After the death of Herod, major riots broke out, and Rome appointed prefects over the Herods, which is where Pilate would eventually come into the picture. Have a Jesus-filled week. Oh yeah, by the way, there's also some coins and stuff that Herod had minted that I'm going to put in the comment section as well. Have a Jesus-filled week, and if it be the good Lord's will, I'll be back on here Monday evening.